What's going on, bottom line viewers, NFL fans? It is Mitch here with another week of NFL picks, straight up and versus the spread, this time for week number 15 of the 2022 NFL season. Week 15 means we're not that far away from the NFL playoffs, from big time, big boy football. And these are the games that really, really matter. These are the games that are going to determine your 2022 season. For certain teams fighting for a wild card spot. For certain teams fighting for the number one seed, a bye. For home field in the first round of the playoffs. These games really, really matter. So, let's pick every game. Let's have some fun doing it. But before I do, make sure that you do. Gronk, Spike, the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you are new. I know that there are a lot of you that are watching my channel and are not subscribed, so please do subscribe and join the BLV community. Before we pick Thursday Night Football, 49ers, Seattle Seahawks, I do want to give a shout out to Underdog Fantasy because Underdog Fantasy has begun their contest for fantasy football in the playoffs. Playoff fantasy football. They call it the Gauntlet, like Thanos' Gauntlet. Join that tournament right now. Join Underdog Fantasy using the promo code BLV. The link is in the description. You can double your first deposit up to $100, a free $100. And you could join the Gauntlet numerous times. I know that there's a huge prize for that tournament. There is, I believe, over like $1 million in that contest. So make sure to check that out, guys. Underdog Fantasy is back with more best ball fantasy football, but this time for the playoffs. I'm definitely going to be joining the tournament. I may even do a draft here on the channel in that tournament. We will see. All right, Gronk, Spike the like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and let's roll. Shout out to everybody in the live chat. Sing, Miss Bell, Kobe, Lions Mania. Let's go. Okay. Week number 15. Thursday Night Football. It begins. It kicks off with the San Francisco 49ers at the Seattle Seahawks. An NFC West showdown. An NFC West game. Shout out to Tessa and Becca who are going toe-to-toe in this game. The 49ers taking on the Seattle Shithawks. Niners favored by 3.5 here. I made it a best bet minus the 3. I bet it minus the 3. I like the 49ers in this game. Why do I like the 49ers? Now, typically, I would like the team that is the home dog, has the home crowd, facing a rookie quarterback, even apparently a rookie quarterback that's a bit beat up entering this game. But I like the 49ers because I don't like the way Seattle's playing, and I absolutely love how the 49ers are playing. I love how they're running the football. I love how involved Christian McCaffrey is. I love how Shanahan's using him within the offense. I like how Brock Purdy is playing, and I think people have failed to adjust their expectations for this 49ers team. We've seen Brock Purdy the last 2 weeks play superb football, throwing the ball down the field vertically, making the completions underneath, taking care of the football, moving with his feet when he needs to move with his feet, doing everything he needs to do within this offense, and not making mistakes. The O-line's playing as best as they have all year. I think they're doing a great job. I think they're really honing in on that run game. And they've got most of their personnel intact offensively. They will be without Deebo Samuel. But I think Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle especially, step up in this game from a receiver perspective. Defensively, the Niners, we know, have arguably the best defense in football. They are getting healthier and healthier up front on the defensive line. And I do think that Geno Smith has struggled with pressure at times, especially blitzes at times this year. I feel like DeMeco Ryans will have a few that he can dial up in this contest. And I just like this matchup for the 49ers, the way the two teams are currently constituted, because the Seahawks have not done a good job at stopping the run as of late. And I feel like if you can run the ball on Seattle, you can dictate this game against Seattle, you can beat Seattle. And we saw Carolina go to Seattle, layeth the smack-a-downeth on the Seattle Seahawks. And no amount of noise can change you getting your ass kicked at the line of scrimmage. I think that happens in this game. I think the Niners run it, the Seahawks can't run it, and the Niners therefore win the game. And really, they don't really need a lot from Brock Purdy if that's the case in this game. So I'm going to take the 49ers to win and to cover this game. I forgot to give you my updated record for my picks. So before we get to the Saturday games and the Sunday games, which is exciting, we have football on Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Yes. Okay. And the World Cup final on Sunday morning. Yes. But before I get to Saturday, let's take a look at the record for this season so far. Had another great week, especially straight up. 10-3 straight up record last week, and 10 out of 13. I'll take it every single time. My spread record was 8-5, and overall, we're doing fabulous. 132 and 74 and 2, the two being the ties. I don't really count as a loss or a win because it's a tie. So doing great there. And then versus the spread, well above 500 at 111 and 93. Another above 500 week versus the spread overall. So another good week. Hopefully we can continue that for week number 15. Straight up, I could have even done better this week than I did, because I think I maybe made a biased pick there with Tampa Bay. I shouldn't have picked the Bucs, but I was hoping for better from Tom Brady and the boys. Okay, let's get to Saturday. The Indianapolis Colts at the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings are -4 at home in this game. Another week where the Vikings have just not been properly calculated by the books, it seems. Minnesota has regularly been overrated this season due to the fact that they have a good record but bad metrics, bad numbers. They are not a team that is a 10-win double-digit team. They're more closer to an average type of team. Really, when you look at their numbers, when you look at the statistics, when you dive into the advanced analytics, this team is just kind of average. But they're propped up by their record. What I like in this game for the Colts as an underdog is the fact that the Vikings defense is really, really, really bad. Like, I think you could argue that the Vikings, the last 5 or 6 games, have the worst defense in the NFL. The way that they're currently playing, they have allowed over 400 yards to their last 5 opponents in a row. And these are not amazing offenses. Yes, Detroit is a good offense, I would say, but the Jets, the Patriots, these are not exactly world-class offenses. These are not the 2013 Broncos we're talking about here. And Minnesota has just failed to defend any of these offenses at a high level. I look at this game and I see a Vikings team that will probably give up points, will probably give up yards, and it's going to come down to the red zone. on whether or not the Colts can really pull off a potential upset. Because the Vikings have been strong in the red zone. They have been able to defend teams in the red zone. They have been able to force field goals and not allow touchdowns, which is why they've still been able to win games throughout this stretch with terrible defense. But I think that helps the Colts because I think if they can run the ball, they can possess the ball, and Matt Ryan can feel comfortable in the pocket, which the Vikings have not been able to create a sustainable pass rush. They've not been able to put pressure on these quarterbacks and make them uncomfortable. I think a comfortable Matt Ryan, even at this point in his career, even with the arm of a noodle that he has currently, can still make some throws, still make some plays, and still move the football and still score some points. We've seen that this year. If he's not pressured consistently, he can still make plays, he can still make throws, he can still make things happen. So I think the Colts will be able to score within the 20s, 20 to 30 range. So it's up to the Vikings offense to be able to move the ball against probably an above average defense in the Colts. I would say the Colts defense is about the 12th best unit in the league. You know, they've got a fairly good run defense, although did not play well against the Cowboys last time we saw them. They do have a pretty good back end, a pretty good secondary led by Stephon Gilmore. It's a pretty vanilla defense, but they've got good players. DeForest Buckner. I think the Colts defense can do a decent enough job. I think their run defense is going to be a lot better this week. I just have not liked what I've seen from the Vikings running offense. They have continuously tried to force the football to Dalvin Cook running the ball on early downs. It has not worked. And therefore, it's put even more pressure on Justin Jefferson and Kirk Cousins to make big plays on third down. They've been able to make a lot of them. But in this game, I feel like Stephon Gilmore will challenge Jefferson when they're in those one-on-one situations. I think the Vikings probably win, and they make enough big plays on offense to win the game. They are at home. But I do think that the Colts are going to cover. I think this is probably going to be a field goal game. The Vikings all year have liked to play close games. They don't really separate from opponents, and it's because their defense is just so lousy. So I'm going to continue fading the Vikings defense by taking the 4 points, but I will take Minnesota to win the game by a field goal or so. Okay? Next, we have the Baltimore Ravens at the Cleveland Browns. Guys, if you're just joining, say hello in the chat. Let me know how you're doing, how you're feeling. Gronk spiked the like button. Cleveland -3. I like Baltimore mostly here. I'm kind of suspect about it because it's hard to really gauge. It's hard to really understand what we're getting from Deshaun Watson, what we're getting from the Cleveland Browns. But what I like about this matchup for Baltimore is their ability to play defense. I love how they're stopping the run currently. I like how Roquan Smith has fit within this defense. And I just really like how their defense is playing. I think they're rushing the passer effectively. I think they're covering well in the back end. And I think they're playing like a top 5-ish unit in the NFL. They're forcing turnovers. And I think Deshaun Watson has struggled since his return to the NFL. He struggled against the blitz. And I think that the Ravens have good corners on the outside that can match up with Cooper and Donovan Peoples-Jones. I think they've got safeties and linebackers that can run with David Njoku. And I feel like they have big people to stop Nick Chubb from running all over them. So I think this game will be low scoring. I like how the Ravens can run the ball in this game with Tyler Huntley probably playing in this game. If Tyler Huntley doesn't play, I would switch my pick. But I think Tyler Huntley will play as he has been practicing. And I like how the Ravens ran the ball against the Steelers. I like how Dobbins looked. I like how Drake looked. I like how Gus Edwards looked. I like how they ran the ball last week. I think they run the ball against Cleveland. I think they possess the ball against Cleveland. And they have long, sustained drives. And they get stops on defense. Plus, you never really know with this Cleveland team. They're going to go for it on fourth down. And they're going to not get it. And it's just like, what are you doing? Meanwhile, you can trust the Ravens to kick 3 from about 50 to 60 yards out because of Justin Tucker. So I'm going to take the Ravens here in a low-scoring, grinded-out contest. The Miami Dolphins at the Buffalo Bills. If you watch my best bets, If you don't, I don't know what you're doing. But nonetheless, I have the Bills here. Bills -7.5. Bills to win. Bills at home. Just really, really bad weather expected in Buffalo. I think favors a team with a cannon for an arm in Josh Allen and a Hulk running with the football named Josh Allen. Meanwhile, we've got Tuanon, who's going to be scared of the weather because they're coming from Miami to Buffalo. They're used to the heat. They're used to the humidity. They're not going to be used to wearing extra layers, to having blankets and coats on the sidelines. The Bills are used to it. The Bills are used to the cold weather, the snow, the wind, the rain. They're used to the elements. This is a football team that's looking to peak at the right time. I was really impressed with how the Bills defense played last week. Everybody is making out the Bills performance last week to just be about how poorly the offense played last week. But they're not mentioning that they played the New York Jets defense in the snow. Okay? The Dolphins defense is not nearly as good as the Jets. The Dolphins defense does not rush 4 as effectively as the Jets. The Dolphins defense is not as fast as the Jets. The Dolphins defense does not cover like the Jets do. The Bills will be able to move the ball. The Dolphins like to blitz. That does not work against Josh Allen very much. I think Josh Allen creates some big plays with his arm. He runs as well. Josh Allen takes over the game, and the defense limits the Miami offense. I just don't expect Tua in the wind, in bad weather, to be able to throw the ball down the field. I expect Sean McDermott. I expect Leslie Frazier to have a nice game plan, to be able to take away the middle of the field, force Tua to do other things, force him to ad-lib, and therefore I expect the Bills to win, and I expect the Bills to cover this game. Moving to Sunday, we've got the Atlanta Falcons at the New Orleans Saints. Guys, if you haven't already, make sure to jump in the comments. Let me know how you're doing, how you're feeling. Let me know your picks for this week. Let me know your best bets. Let me know how you're doing. I like to hear from you guys. Also, don't forget to spike the like button. Subscribe if you're new. Atlanta Falcons at the New Orleans Saints. Saints -4. No idea what to think in this game, but my first inclination, my first gut feel was to take the points with the Atlanta Falcons. That was my first thought. A lot of people are saying, take the Saints. They're at home. This is a rookie quarterback, Desmond Ridder, on the road, first ever time. But bro, I don't see much of a difference between Marcus Mariota and Desmond Ridder. I didn't in the preseason. I don't see it now. Both quarterbacks are very athletic. I think Ridder actually has a bigger arm. He's probably less accurate, but it's hard to be less accurate than Marcus Mariota. And Arthur Smith has had a whole bye week to prepare this young quarterback. And personally, I believe Arthur Smith is a better coach than Dennis Allen as a head coach. I really like and respect how Atlanta has coached this year. I think he'll have a nice game plan. I thought Atlanta was the better team in week 1. They got unfortunate with a comeback from Jameis Winston of all quarterbacks in week 1. That was a Saints team that didn't look good on defense. They were not ready for the quarterback attack, the run game of the Falcons. And I don't think the Saints will be able to create enough of a pass rush against this rookie quarterback to really affect Desmond Ridder. I am really intrigued to see what happens here with Ridder, but I'm actually going to take Atlanta to cover and to win the game. I just think that Atlanta is going to split the season series because I thought they played better than the Saints in the first matchup. Maybe I'm totally off here, but I like the way that Atlanta matches up with the Saints in this game. I think they're going to go to New Orleans and win the game thanks to a nice game plan from Arthur Smith, one of the low-key coaches of the year this year. Next, the Dallas Cowboys at the Jacksonville Jags. This one has been a little bit confusing, so much so that I don't really know what to do. Early in the week, I was going to bet the Dallas Cowboys, but there's been enough noise and also enough line movement and also enough injuries for Dallas and kind of things that I don't really know what's going to take place. So they lost their right tackle last week. That could be a significant loss. It does appear that they probably will not get Tyron Smith back this week, which would not be good. Hopefully they do. But Jason Peters could slide to the left tackle position. Maybe they move Tyler Smith to right tackle. I'm not exactly sure what they're going to do there. But that does give me a little bit of an uncomfortable feeling for Dallas because I feel like Dak is a different quarterback with a good offensive line, a bad offensive line. So that does make me a little uncomfortable, especially with Josh Allen out there on Jacksonville's side. But I was all about Dallas early in the week, and I still might land on Dallas by the time we hit Sunday. I'm just fading this whole Trevor Lawrence is the next coming of Christ narrative. You know, I see people hyping up Trevor Lawrence, but the man is a human roller coaster. I mean, 1 week, he is one of the worst quarterbacks in football, and the next week, he's one of the best quarterbacks in football. I don't know what we're getting from Trevor Lawrence on a given week. And I especially don't know what we're getting when the Dallas Cowboys have one of the best pass rushes in football, and Jacksonville can't really block. So I like that matchup for Dallas. I like their matchup with their pass rush taking on Jacksonville's offensive line. I also don't think Jacksonville has scary receivers. So I don't think Dan Quinn, with the secondary that he has, losing Anthony Brown, I think that is a loss for them, one of their starting corners. But I do think that they're not going to be scared to play man-to-man on the outside. I mean, they're not scared of Zay Jones running past Trayvon Diggs. That's not going to happen. Okay, so I like Dallas's pass rush to be able to penetrate this offensive line and cause some trouble for Trevor Lawrence. Because Lawrence, yeah, he's athletic. He can move around. He can scramble. But this Dallas offensive line or defensive line is really fast and can catch you in a hurry and can really close that space and cause some turnovers. So I could see I'm just going to fade this Trevor Lawrence is amazing narrative. I just don't see it on a consistent enough basis, especially against good teams. And defensively, I don't think Jacksonville is very good. I don't think they defend the pass very well. I don't think they cover very well. And I think they're average against the run. I think their run defense got exposed against Derrick Henry. I think Zeke and Pollard can have a nice day. I just don't see the Jacksonville hype. The only things that scare me are Dallas related. Dallas injuries, Dallas not playing well last week, Dallas being on the road. This is the only things that scare me. I don't get the Jacksonville hype. I'm taking Dallas. I'm taking Dallas to cover. I might bet this game by the end of the week. Lions at the New York Jets. This is a pick'em and one of the games of the week. This is a huge game for playoffs. This is a huge game for the playoffs. I mean, absolutely massive. If Detroit loses, I don't think they have much of a chance of making the playoffs if they lose. If the Jets lose, huge for my Patriots. Huge for the Chargers. Huge for the Dolphins. Absolutely huge. Okay? So, we've got the Detroit Lions. We've got the New York Jets. This is a fascinating matchup. It's a pick'em for a reason because nobody really knows who's going to win. It's just that even. Down the middle. So let's break it down off the top of the dome right here. I don't even know who I'm picking, guys. I know who I'm picking in every other game. I don't know who I'm picking right now. So, for the Detroit Lions offensively, they take on the New York Jets defense. A Jets defense that I said is maybe the best in the NFL. They've got superb athletes, great coverage, good corners, good pass rush, good interior pass rush. Okay? Detroit has a very good offensive line. That helps. Okay? If you're gonna beat the Jets, you've got to be able to protect against the Jets. I also like how Ben Johnson has been calling plays this year, and I do feel he's a creative coordinator. The Jets, as a defense, do like to play a lot of man coverage. They like to mix in man coverage with zone, but they kind of lean more into man recently. I don't think that Jared Goff is typically great against man coverage. So that does concern me a little bit. But the Lions have a lot of different players that can expose matchups, right? They're not just a 1 or 2 receiver team. They've got 3 or 4 guys that can go out there and beat man coverage. Amon-Ra is going to be an interesting matchup because he mostly plays in the slot. You know, are the Jets going to try to match up with him? Or are they going to leave their nickel guy in to be able to, defend him? Are they going to try to double him? What are they going to try to do? Because they don't usually try to, move Sauce into the nickel spot. So I don't really see that happening. Jamison Williams might be a little bit more involved. DJ Chark's got speed. Reynolds got downfield ability. So I think it really comes down to, for Detroit, can they protect Jared Goff? I don't think the Lions will be able to run the ball super effectively, but I think they'll be okay running the ball. I think it'll be an all right game from that perspective. I do think Jared Goff's going to have to make throws against man coverage on third down. Weather could be a factor here. It is in New York. It's not in Detroit. We do see splits with Jared Goff, although he's been better this year in bad weather, that he does tend to take a little bit of a drop off when playing in that type of weather, when playing on the road. The Lions have not exactly been the same offense this year, especially against good defenses. So I can see an argument for the Lions to move the ball a bit, but I could also see the Jets defense giving them a tough time. That's why this is so hard. On the other side, I think the Lions defense, the way they're currently playing, I think they match up pretty well with the Jets. On the other side, I think that their run defense has been really strong, and I do think that in order for the Jets to be successful on offense, they've got to be able to run the ball, okay? And I just don't think the Jets will be able to run all over the Lions the way they're stopping the run. They don't have to worry about a quarterback running all over them. Plus, Mike White was literally in an ambulance at the end of the Bills game. So I do think that the Lions, overall, on offense and defense, have a slight advantage at the line of scrimmage because I think their defensive line is better than the Jets' offensive line. And I think it's a pretty close call on the other side of the ball. Okay? Both quarterbacks have played well recently. Jared Goff, more experienced. Coaching-wise, pretty even. This one is really hard. This one is a dead even game. I could see it going either way. I think if the weather becomes really a factor, I think the Jets probably win. But if the weather is pretty normal, I'm going to go with the Lions. And ultimately, I'm cheering for the Lions. I'm rooting for the Lions. My Patriots need the Lions to win. So I'm going to take the Lions to win. Lions win. Not betting this game, but it will be a fascinating one to watch. Okay, next up, we have the Kansas City Chiefs at the Houston Texans. The Chiefs are minus 14 in this matchup. Not going to waste too much time on this one. Chiefs win, Texans cover. Chiefs do not cover big spreads, period. They allowed 28 points against the Denver Broncos. If you allow 28 points against the Denver Broncos, I am not picking you to win or cover a big spread. The Texans actually will probably sell out to win this game. They're going to do everything in their power to make this close. And the Chiefs don't really care. We've seen numerous times the Chiefs don't try against these type of teams. They don't try in the sense of they don't bring their best to the table. From a physical standpoint or from a game plan standpoint, they play more vanilla. They don't have game plan plays to the point of what they usually would. And that's why they don't tend to cover these games. Houston, meanwhile, I think we'll be able to run it a little bit. be able to have some trick plays that they can move the ball down the field with. Jeff Driscoll coming in there as an extra wrinkle has been interesting. I think the Chiefs win, but I think the Texans hang around for a bit. Maybe the Chiefs get a big lead and the Texans fight their way back, similar to Denver. Either way, I think I'll take the 14 with the Texans. Philadelphia Eagles at the Chicago Bears. Philadelphia favored by 9 in this spot at Chicago. It's tough to take anybody to cover 9 in Chicago. I respect Chicago's home field advantage and the fans and the Windy City in general. But I'm not fading the Eagles at this point. I've done it the last couple of weeks. It has not paid off for me. I'm going to take the Eagles to win. I'll take the Eagles to cover. Some people are going to take the Bears here to cover just because of Justin Fields. But I look at the matchup, I just don't see how Justin Fields is going to be able to match the Eagles. I think the Eagles win by 10 plus. The Eagles should be able to score 30 to 38 points, 40 points in this game. The Bears will have no answers. The Bears can't stop the run. The Bears can't really stop the pass. The Bears can't stop anything. How are they going to stop this offense that can do everything? Jalen Hurts has been a machine. He's running, he's throwing. A.J. Brown uncoverable. This Bears defense is in real trouble in this matchup. On the other side, I don't think the Bears are going to have much in the traditional run game. I think it's pretty much going to come down to, can Justin Fields make freakish plays? I think he'll make a couple, but I don't think he's going to be able to catch up. I think the Eagles win, the Eagles cover, and eventually, in that fourth quarter, the Eagles will be able to cover this spread because when the Bears have to pass, they're just not very good on offense. So I'm going to take the Eagles here. Both ways. Not the Philadelphia Eagles. I just talked about the Philadelphia Eagles. The Pittsburgh Steelers at the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers are favored by 2.5 at home. I believe the line may have moved to 3, but I'm going to stick to the 2.5 here for now. I'm going to take Carolina to win, Carolina to cover. I like how Carolina is playing. I like that they have an identity. And I understand what they are. I also like that they're not playing in Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh's been a substantially worse team on the road this year. They do have fight. They do play close games at home. But on the road, they're a different team. Whether it's Kenny Pickett or Mitch Trubisky, give me Carolina. Sam Darnold is making enough plays, enough throws. He's not turning the ball over. As long as he doesn't turn it over in this game, I think they win. I think Carolina runs the ball better than Pittsburgh, and I think Pittsburgh allows teams to run on them. Look at Baltimore last week. And I also look at Carolina's ability on defense. I think they've got a good pass rush that can disrupt the quarterback on the other side and cause some turnovers. They did that to Geno Smith. I think they can similarly do that to Money Mitch or to Kenny Pickett. And they've got the corners, J.C. Horn to cover Deontay Johnson and these other guys they got in Pittsburgh, the young rookie. So I think that Carolina's the better team. I think they're playing the better football, and I'm going to take them to win and cover at home. They need this. They need this game. There's still a chance they can make the playoffs, and I think that hunger really matters. The Denver Broncos, the Arizona Cardinals, literally 0 people will be watching this football game. 0, maybe negative people will be watching this game. The Arizona Cardinals with Colt McCoy at Denver, potentially facing Brett Rippon. Give me the Broncos, I guess. Maybe. I don't know. Sure. I kind of want to take the Cardinals, though. I kind of do. If it's Brett Rippon, I'm taking the Cardinals. 100%. Colt McCoy is better than Rippon. But if it's Russ, I'll take the Broncos. So that's my answer there both ways. Russ plays, Broncos. Rippon plays, Cardinals. Simple. Next. Denver Broncos. Please protect my guy Jake. Okay. New England Patriots at the Las Vegas Raiders. Josh McDaniels, Bill Belichick. Two coaching staffs that respect each other, that know each other, that probably have family functions with each other. They may even send each other Christmas cards. But on Sunday, they will not be fans of each other. They will not be buddy-buddy. This is going to be a big game. The Patriots got to win. The Patriots must win to make the playoffs. This is a must win to make the playoffs. The Patriots have stayed in Arizona, practiced in Arizona, and they are prepared. The Raiders, on the other hand, everybody's building them up, as the Raiders are more talented than the New England Patriots. I don't know what these guys are watching, but they clearly are on some different type of drug. Have you seen the Raiders' cornerbacks? Do you even know the Raiders' safeties? Can we stop pretending the Raiders have some amazing roster? The offensive line's a bunch of rookies. The Patriots will win this game. They will win this game. Why will they win this game? Because their defensive line. That's why they'll win this game. The Patriots will stop the run of Josh Jacobs. They'll be prepared for the Jakob Johnson two-back attack of Josh McDaniels. And when it gets to third down, Belichick will have a plan for Devontae Adams, force Derek Carr to throw anywhere else, and Uche and Judon, 10 sacks apiece, will create pressure against this bad protecting offensive line of the Raiders. That will be the game right there. Patriots will win the game at the line of scrimmage. On the other side, the Patriots will run the ball just enough. And I do think that Mac Jones, who played well against the Cardinals, will carry over his momentum in this game and play well in this game. Jacoby Myers potentially back in this game as well, which will help. New England, not sure on the status of Stevenson. Jalen Mills will be back as well at corner. I think New England wins this game. It will be close, but I think the Patriots pull it off. Next, the Cincinnati Bengals at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Cincinnati minus 3.5 in Tampa Bay. Rob says that Waller and Renfro are back. They have been designated to return from IR. That does not mean they're playing, though. They have to come off of IR in order to be in the lineup. We will see if they play. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. That would change some things, absolutely. I'm still going to pick the Patriots. Cincinnati, Tampa Bay. I really want the Bucs to win this game. I'd love the Bucs to win this game. I really want them to make the playoffs. I don't want Sam Darnold in the playoffs. I'd much rather Tom Brady. Better for ratings. But I'm not picking them here. There's no reason to pick them here. Last week was a disaster. It was a disaster. Absolute disaster. I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball against the Bengals. I think they can pass the ball on the Bengals, but the details are off. The details are off. And Trey Hendrickson hurt. That might help Brady have some extra time. Maybe T. Higgins plays. Maybe he doesn't. The Bucs secondary, though, is beat up. Jamel Dean's probably out of this game. Bunting could be back. Maybe not. Winfield could be back. Maybe not. They've been missing those guys. I don't think they've got a great pass rush. They've got to blitz Burrow to make things happen. I think Burrow's good against the blitz. I just think Cincinnati, it's rare to say this, has a better coaching staff. I mean, the Bucs coaching staff is shit. It is utter shit. And Joe Burrow's playing great. And Jamar Chase is uncoverable. And I'm going to take the Bengals here. Maybe the Bucs cover. Maybe this is a field goal game, 24-21. I could see it. But I'm going to take the Bengals, man. I just am. I just am. So I'm going to take Cincinnati. I can't with the damn Bucs, man. I just can't. They depress me. They upset me. I am done. Next, the Tennessee Titans at the Los Angeles Chargers. I love Mike Vrabel. I really do. I made a damn video essay about the dude. But his team is hurt. And as long as they do not get healthy at the last second, I'm going to take the Chargers. I think Justin Herbert is playing out of his freaking skull. I don't think there's a quarterback that navigates or performs against pressure in the NFL better than Justin Herbert. I don't think there's a quarterback that does a better job of maneuvering around pressure, finding extra space to throw, and making plays against pressure than Justin Herbert. I'm talking about Mahomes. I'm talking about Josh Allen. I'm talking about Joe Burrow. I'm talking about Lamar Jackson. It doesn't freaking matter. Justin Herbert does it better than anybody. I think the Chargers can move the ball through the air in this game. I think Herbert's going to have about 300. I think the Titans got too many issues at corner to be able to defend Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and this receiving core of the Chargers and Justin Herbert. I think Herbert's backbreaking ability to be able to move and escape and just be able to manipulate the pocket against this Vrabel defense will be a huge difference maker. And I think that the Titans will score a bit because, I think that they'll be able to run the ball. I think Derrick Henry will have a nice day running the ball, and I think that will open up some things in the passing game. The Chargers will have to sell out to stop Derrick Henry. I just don't think they'll be able to do it, so I think Tannehill will make some big plays down the field. I think the Titans will be able to run. I think it will be kind of like a 27-20 type of game, but I've got the Chargers to win and the Chargers to cover because I just think Justin Herbert's playing next level right now, and I don't see anybody playing better against pressure. Even guys like Allen and Mahomes are more affected. Mahomes sometimes just holds on the ball and runs around in circles. And Allen sometimes just, he doesn't, I just feel like Herbert's ability to stand in the pocket and take hits or his ability to escape is just, next level. He's so good at that. And it's not just the escapability that I'm talking about. It's he could stand in there and take a shot and make a hit and make a throw, man. So I think he'll do that against Tennessee. New York Giants at the Washington Commanders. Washington minus 4.5. This one is tricky. This is a Sunday night football game. The books it feels like Vegas is trying to force you to take the Giants. And I said that in my best bets. I took the Giants out of by the book because you just think about it. Just take away the teams, the rosters, whatever. Both teams fighting for a playoff spot. NFC East showdown. Giants need this win badly. This is their season. They tied 2 weeks ago in New York. Now they play in Washington. And I don't think the Giants roster is too different than it was 2 weeks ago. I'm hoping for a bit more health from the Giants this week. Hopefully. I'm going to take the 4.5 with the G-Men. I'm going to take Washington to win by about a field goal. Maybe 4 points, 24-20, 23-20. It's just hard for me to believe that I can count on Taylor Heineken, whatever his name is, to be able to score enough points to cover 4.5 against most NFL teams. Especially one with Wink Martindale and Brian Daboll and Saquon Barkley. Maybe I'm totally wrong, but I just don't think Washington really wins by margin that often. They usually win close games. So I'm going to take the 4.5 with the Giants. I'm going to say that Washington wins the game, though. Monday Night Football is the final game. Unfortunately, this game is not as good as it looked before the season. Packers -7 versus the Rams. I'm taking the Packers to win and the Packers to cover at home on Monday night. I think I'm just generally higher on the Packers than most people. I just feel like watching the Packers recently, especially coming off of a bye, I feel like they've been really a lot better on offense, and I think it's all started with Christian Watson breaking out. I think Christian Watson's game-breaking speed has forced defenses to play them differently. It's opened up some other players in the offense a bit more. It's allowed Aaron Rodgers to be a little bit more comfortable, and I just feel like Rodgers is more comfortable at this point. And he's seeing the game better, seeing the field better, and he can rely on these receivers. I think Baker Mayfield comes back down to earth. And the biggest point of all, I don't think the Rams, a West Coast Hollywood team, wants to go to Green Bay at this point in the year when they have nothing to play for. I think they're going to be cold. I don't think they're going to give a shit. And I think the Packers still have a chance to make the back door in the playoffs. I think they win. I think they cover. And I think they score about 30. I think the Packers score 30. I think the Rams score about 17-20, and the Packers win the game. Baker probably throws a pick or two and looks more like Baker. So those are my picks for week number 15. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to Gronk spike the like button. Show your support for the channel. Don't forget to subscribe. And don't forget to check out Underdog Fantasy. As I said, guys, right now they have brought back playoff best ball fantasy football. It's called the Gauntlet. It's a $25 entry with a chance to win $1 million. All right, there's a ton of cash prizes at Underdog Fantasy. I'm going to be playing in the Gauntlet. I'm going to be entering the Gauntlet, and I'm going to be going through the Gauntlet. Winning the wild card, winning the division round, winning the conference championship, winning the damn Super Bowl. And if you want a free chance at the Gauntlet, all you got to do is enter BLV when you sign up to Underdog Fantasy. When you sign up, you deposit 100 buckaroos. You get 100 buckaroos back for free. Free! And that's 4 chances at the Gauntlet. So join me playing the Gauntlet at Underdog Fantasy. Use the code BLV. Thank you guys for watching. It's Mitch. I may or may not be coming out with an extra picks video this week. It may be that I come out and I go live tomorrow and pick every game over or under, trying something a little bit different. So tune in for that tomorrow about midday. Thank you guys for watching. We will see you soon. Peace.